Like it doesn't need to be divided into multiple phonics rules. Same thing with T and H. I'll hear sometimes, well, why isn't there a voiced and an unvoiced TH secret? Because we don't need it. You don't have to have it. There's no kid that can go E, V. It doesn't matter that you're saying or they can still figure out the word. The goal of the game is get the word. Get the word. Get them reading, get the word. The goal of the game is not, you know the difference between a voiced and an unvoiced sound, don't you? One is chordal involvement and one is non-chordal involvement. And certain words have chordal involvement, others don't. For instance, this, you can hear my vocal cords engaged. But when I say with versus with, you can hear the non-engagement. It's not that that's not interesting. It is interesting. And it is totally true. And if you're a speech pathologist, you may have to dig into that with certain kids who do struggle. And by the way, every kid, by the way, is going to want to go for sometimes, because that's a speech. I mean, articulation's tricky. Earlier developing learners especially are underdeveloped in that area. But that's why it's so important to show them what they know, which is when you're being bratty, you don't accidentally do this to your brother. You do this. So the good part about that is it takes care of itself. In order to be bratty, I got to get my tongue out of my mouth. So I may not auditorily process that. If you just say, I'd like you to say the word this, and they go, this, like auditorily, they may not have the ability to hear the difference. But if they're trying to stick their tongue out at their brother, you're going to get that tongue out, not because you gave them specific speech articulation directions, but because that's how you stick your tongue out at someone. That part they know. So you just kind of take a faster route instead of the longer way around. And you can do that if the goal of the game is to read the word. You couldn't do that if the goal of the game is to train a speech pathologist. If you're training a speech pathologist, you do need to absolutely make sure that they are aware of what constitutes the difference between a voiced or an unvoiced sound, because they're going to have to talk about that with certain kids. But if you're trying to get Johnny to read, give him what he needs to be able to get the word. And if he can get the word, you're good. Move. Like get it.